strength training, so important. So what does strength training do besides help build that muscle mass? Well, by doing that, by lifting these weights, and I just want to clarify that it doesn't have to be for a really, really long time. You can do like 15 minutes or start off with 15 minutes. If that's all you can spare, then do the best you can during that time. Focus on maybe your upper body or your legs and your buttocks, because those are the strongest muscles, right? And those are the ones that will give you most impact. So what strength training does additionally is it does. Hello and welcome to the Menopause Mind Shift Self-Love Podcast, where we are talking differently about menopause. I'm your host, Lisa R. Triggs, best-selling author of The Menopause Mind Shift, How I Unleashed My Inner Queen, and You Can Too. Author of the Self-Love Journal, thought leader, and self-love advocate for women in menopause. And you're probably wondering what self-love has to do with menopause. And I'm going to tell you, everything. It boils down to one simple thing. How we feel about ourselves affects every area of our life, whether you realize it or not, including menopause. So in this podcast, we're going to hear empowering stories, have insightful guests, and have real conversations that will remind you that you have always had it within yourself to make menopause better. So please tune in and come on the journey of self-love. Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Menopause Mind Shift Self-Love Podcast. I am your host, Lisa R. Triggs, best-selling author, menopause queen, and self-love advocate for women in menopause, among a few other things. So today I want to talk to you about the link between stress and menopause symptoms, specifically symptoms. My focus is always on improving symptoms. And these are all things that happened to me, techniques I used, tools that worked for me, and I'm passing it along to you with the hopes that it might help you too. And I want to also add in that the things I talk about a little later are all scientifically proven to improve mental, physical, and emotional well-being and health. Okay, stress. Stress affects our bodies in so many ways. And when a woman enters menopause, it's a shitstorm of stress. Hormones start fluctuating, right? Our estrogen lowers, testosterone might be playing around a bit, and also the progesterone. And that combination, among a few other things that are going on, external stresses during this time, because you're trying to figure out how to deal with your job, your spouse, your kids, your friends, your memory, your fatiguing body, your weight gain. These are all things that cause us extreme stress. So some of the things I'm going to talk about will help lower that stress. They helped me. I have been able to lose over 20 of the more than 40 pounds that I lost using these techniques and these tools. So I wanted to pass it on to you. I want to make it clear that I am not dieting. I am talking about natural ways to help improve your mindset, improve your spirit, improve your light, improve your happiness, and lower your stress. So let's dive in. Okay, first let's talk about exercise. I was doing the wrong exercises and stressing out my body more, and I had no idea. I was doing a lot of cardio, like elliptical, some HIIT training, and I wasn't losing any weight. I was so frustrated. I was still suffering from a lot of symptoms. I was still experiencing a lot of outside stressors, which is another key thing, outside stressors, and I'll get to that in a minute. But then I learned how to do the proper exercises and what exercises to make. And how did I learn to do that? Well, I got so frustrated with it that I did engage a trainer and went through what was going on. And he gave me some exercises to try. He had success with other women in menopause doing these exercises. So, and most of it was strength training. He allowed me to choose whatever weight I wanted to start with, whether it's 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds. I believe I started at about 15 pounds because you want it to be heavy, but not overly heavy. Although there are some that would say to lift as much as you possibly can, but you find a balance, whatever works for you, somewhere that's comfortable where you can lift, and it is slightly difficult, but not so difficult that you can't complete your rotations and your exercises. So that's one key thing. So what happens there when we strength train, we're not only keeping our bones and muscles stronger as we get older, because as we get older as women, we are prone more to osteoporosis and things like that. So doing strength training really helps keep our muscle mass. We do lose, I believe it's about 5% per year after the age of 50. Strength training, so important. So what does strength training do besides help build that muscle mass? Well, by doing that, by lifting these weights, and I just want to clarify that it doesn't have to be for a really, really long time. You can do like 15 minutes or start off with 15 minutes. If that's all you can spare, then do the best you can during that time. Focus on maybe your upper body or your legs and your buttocks, because those are the strongest muscles, right? And those are the ones that will give you most impact. So what strength training does additionally is it does help you produce your own hormones. So it helps balance things out a bit. So we are naturally producing a little more estrogen yourself, which will increase your mood. And that's when I started to see a little bit change in the sugar cravings. Sugar cravings was one of the things I really experienced. So once I started strength training and I was exerting that energy, producing those hormones, I did start to see the sugar cravings level off some. So that was a big plus. Next thing, and again, 15 minutes, if you can find 15, journal. Why journal during menopause? To reduce stress, because you're getting that shit out of your head onto paper and out of your mind so that it's off the table. Now, once you get it onto the paper, you can rip it up, you can burn it or keep it. It doesn't matter, but is a very good tool to use to reduce stress is just to write things down, get it off your brain, get it out of your head. For a while, I was even leaving a pen and paper next to my bedside table, because one of the other things I experienced was memory loss or lack of focus. So having a pen and paper next to my bedside table, if I thought of something like, oh, that's a great idea, I want to do that, or I want to put that in my book, or I want to create this, I had a pen and paper next to my bed so I could write it down no matter what time of night it was, and so that I wouldn't forget it. So journaling, a big plus. Another thing that worked for me was listening to uplifting music. Now, in my book, I refer to solfeggio music. There's solfeggio frequencies, and there's various ones for different things that are happening in our bodies and so forth. But second to that, another thing you can do with regard to music is put on your favorite music. Now, I grew up in the 80s, so 80s rock and roll is going on for me. All that upbeat, uplifting, great energy music that lifts you up. It lifts your vibration. It makes you happy. When you are happier, your stress goes down. Chain reaction. So each one of these things, strength training, journaling, and now I'm talking about listening to music, they each have a chain reaction happen when you do them. And it all has to do with lowering stress. So the next thing to do that worked for me is go for a walk. Not a really strenuous walk, but quick enough so that you're just kind of warming up and getting your heart rate going a little bit. Now, what I find still that works for me best is to go on an incline terrain. If you live near some hills, or go to a park where you have to go up a few hills, or if you have a treadmill or Peloton, I have a Peloton. So in the winter, I can adjust that. So I'm going up more hills than I am walking on flat surface. Now, why? So what that does is it works your glutes, right? It works your glutes more. Those are bigger muscles. And when you're doing that, it helps produce your hormones. So again, help leveling it off. And that going up the hills will help me work up a little bit of sweat, so I can walk for 20 minutes or half an hour. And I'm pretty much in a really good sweat because I've done a lot of incline work, worked my muscles, which also will, help keep my backside a little bit toned. So there's more than one benefit to that. And again, I just want to reiterate that these things are scientifically proven to increase mood, lower stress, and increase that activity in the brain. So chain reaction. All right. So I'm going to go with my computer for just a moment here because I want to do something a little different. I want to share something with you that I love to do. And it's something I created. It's on my YouTube channel. And I referenced listening to music a few minutes ago. So one of the other things that has been really, really wonderful, and it's the last item on my list, read and write affirmations, particularly write affirmations about yourself. Write down, you are a badass queen and you have got this. Menopause is a breeze. You are having the easiest menopause journey that there is. This helps lower stress. So please listen with me. Join me. This meditation is about 3.5 minutes. So let's just give it a try. And what I'm after here is how you feel afterwards. Do you feel any different afterwards after hearing these phrases than you do right now? And these affirmations were written specifically for women in menopause. So I'm going to repeat them while it plays the music in the background. Here we go. I am love. I am incredible. I am so beautiful. I am always at my best. I am in the best years of my life. I am amazing. I am navigating menopause like a queen. I am living my best life now. I am strong and fearless. I am healthy and well. I am supported during menopause. I am kind to myself. I am so grateful for my body. I am in control of my own destiny. I am in love with me. I am continually growing. I am powerful. I am embracing menopause with grace. I am using my imagination to create the life I desire. I am glorious. I am calm. I am strong and powerful. I am awesome. I am unstoppable. I am confident. I am happy. I am having the best day ever. I am lovable. And that's the end. So I want to know if by listening to that, if you felt anything at all, anything whatsoever. So what is at the root of all this and what I'm talking about here? Yes, these are all physical things that we can do. Physical, mental, they evoke emotion. They reduce the stress. They help us improve our menopause symptoms naturally by reducing that stress. You are uplifting yourself. You are creating a more positive attitude, and attitude does really make a difference during this time. It really, really does. If we're going to continue to wallow and believe that this is the suckiest time in your life and you feel miserable, that's exactly what it's going to be like. And how do I know? Because that was me. Like I said in my first podcast, I have been navigating menopause for almost 20 years. I was in perimenopause for 10, of course, had menopause, which is supposed to be 12 months. But for the next 7 years after that, I was a mess. Depression, fatigue, all the symptoms we've talked about before. Changing my life in this way, adopting this, telling myself that I love myself. And that's what this quote boils down to. It really does. Because that chain reaction I was talking about earlier, doing these physical things, like I said, uplift your mood, and improve mood equals happiness. Happiness equals increased vibration. Increased vibration and happiness lowers stress, equals lowers cortisol, equals symptoms should improve. That's what happened to me, and that's the reason I'm sharing it. So what are we really doing for ourselves during this time? When we're doing all these things, all these physical, mental, and emotional things, what are we doing? We are showing ourselves self-love. We are doing these things because we love ourselves and we want to feel, look, and be better. So when we take care of ourselves, we are loving ourselves. And that's the connection between self-love and menopause symptoms. If you can tell yourself and feel, love who you are right now, today, in this moment, whether you're not happy with your weight, whatever, find a way, find something small to love about yourself, even if it's your eyes. You have beautiful eyes. That will make you feel better inside. That will lower your stress, and that will improve your symptoms. That worked for me, and that's why I wrote my book, and I want to share this with you, and I want to talk about this in this podcast about self-love, because it really is all connected. How we feel about ourselves on the inside the inner side. Get rid of the noise that's going outside. Get rid of the noise. Focus on in here. Do the physical work, the emotional work, the mental work that brings you to that feeling of self-love. And the world is so much better. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 2. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again in episode 3. Thank you so much for tuning into the Menopause Mindshift Self-Love Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Lisa R. Triggs, and please remember to start your day with self-love first. Thank you.